Hello, Battlefield Play4Free. This is John J57 here, and today we're going to talk about the medic class. What is the medic class, you ask? Well, basically the medic class is the heart of the team. It's an LMG powerhouse that revives and heals fallen teammates, which allows them to hold the defensive line or even invade into enemy territory a lot more effectively than if you were playing a different class. So let's move on, and we're going to talk about the weapons, the gadgets, the training points, and how you should generally play your medic. First things first, let's move on to weapons. The unique weapon class to the medic is the LMG or light machine gun. The light machine gun's characteristics are usually very high ammo count but with a very long reload time. Now this is a mixed blessing, as even though you can take down more targets per magazine than with other weapons, you also have to have a really long reload, which if you get caught mid-reload by an enemy usually means you're going to die. So you usually have to find a good spot to reload where you're protected or you're hidden to find a good reload spot, or else you usually do die when you're reloading because you can't fire back. So it's a mixed blessing with the LMGs, but it's a trade-off usually well worth it. So there are usually three types of LMGs. There's the magazine feds like the M27 IAR, the box feds like the MG36, or the belt feds like the PKM. Now, the magazine feds usually have the least ammo of the LMGs, but they have the quickest reload, whereas the belt feds have the highest ammo count, but the longest reload time in the game, I believe. And then there's the middle ground, which are these box feds, which allow for a good amount of ammo and a decent reload time. So it's like the middle ground. If you can't decide between one or the other, you can have this. So with these, you want to be a lot more cautious with your shots, and they're usually for more aggressive players who like to run up with the assaults, because you can reload quicker. You're not caught in that zone where an LMG would never want to be caught, with a regular LMG would never want to be caught. So you're able to be a lot more upfront and waste your ammo, but not be caught in that dead zone when you're reloading. With the box feds, it's kind of the same thing. They're around the middle ground. But these are also a little bit more solo aggressive style because they do have the quicker timing and a little bit more ammo, so they can still be used as solo aggressive because they still don't get caught in that dead zone as much as the other LMGs do, but they also have more magazine count to offset the dead zone. So it's a good mix here for a solo aggressive, though in my opinion the mag feds are still the best. And this is usually a middle ground where you want to stay behind your teammate to heal them and revive them, and you don't want to be directly up front. That's where I believe these LMGs excel the best, because they can put down a lot of suppressive fire, and since you're hanging around all of your teammates, you usually don't have to worry about being caught off in that reload time. So this is usually for a group play rather than solo aggressive. But it has its place and can be used in solo aggressive. It's just weird with that reload dead zone. Now we're going to talk about the MG3, which is the starting weapon for the medic. It is a LMG that is a belt fed, obviously, and it has an 80 round magazine and it has 2 magazines. It's low damage, decent rate of fire with decent accuracy. It's not going to be pulling any crazy range shots or any of that. But this is a weapon I can see on Sharky and Carcand, and this is a very, very average LMG. There are definitely improvements from it, but as a starting LMG, it's not as bad as most people think. And I know I'm using attachments, but as stock, it is an okay weapon. But I would definitely recommend upgrading it as soon as possible, because virtually any LMG is still a significant upgrade over this. The unique gadgets available to the medic are the combat defibrillator, the medic box, and the frontline flare. The combat defibrillator is easily the most important, as it allows you to revive a friendly up to 100% and even replenish his ammo. Obviously this provides great benefits over not having a medic, because then your teammates don't die, they don't have to respawn, and they don't have to go all the way back to where they were to help you. The second gadget is the medic box gadget. This you throw it down, and you can have up to 3 on the field if you have the training points. And then it's a small healing radius. Everything around this box gets healed slowly. Now this also provides great benefit in an attack or even in a line because you get to heal your teammates, and small shots usually matter a lot to an assault, but they don't matter anymore because they get healed up almost immediately. So they can effectively take a lot more hits than if they didn't have a medic on their team. The frontline flare gadget is similar to the assault's gadget, but it allows them to just stay on the field and you can kill it. So if you see an enemy frontline flare, you can shoot at it and kill it. But you want to place this anywhere where it's out of the sight of an enemy and where it's still in an open zone, otherwise it never works. So you place this down and teammates that die around it will respawn on it. So this is amazingly effective in rush games where you place it down around a corner against an enemy MCOM, and then you place it down and then just a whole bunch of your teammates will flood all over the MCOM and sort of force the enemy out. Even though you may be losing a lot of guys, you can just respawn right there and they gain no ground and you gain a ton of ground on them. So those are the gadgets. Now let's move over to the training points. There are currently 6 unique skills available to the medic in the talent tree, the first one being the medic box. With each point into the medic box, your medic box heals a little bit faster. This is obviously very important because A, it's a prerequisite into the next skill, and B, it allows someone to heal up a lot faster and get back to playing the game. This is obviously very important if you're in a time-limited game and you just want to win really fast, or you need your guys to move up as fast as possible. Alright, the next skill would be the Advanced Tactical Deployment Medic Box. This allows you to place at least one more box with each point. So, what that means for you is you can place up to 3 medic boxes on the field, which is very important because instead of only being able to place a medic box wherever you are, you can place 3 down and heal people from all over the field, rather than just in one spot. The next skill is the defibrillator skill. I obviously want you to have at least 1 point into this. If you can't spare any points, always put at least 1 point into this. You don't have to max it out, but you need at least 1 point in this to make the medic work gorgeously. And 3 out of 3 allows you to heal your teammates to 100% health, which is obviously very, very beneficial than if he was only at 60% health, because then he could potentially take up to 2 more bullets or even 3 more bullets from some of the weaker weapons, which is obviously very important. The next skill I want to talk about is the medevac vehicle. Now, this allows vehicle players to be a medic. They get to be inside of the vehicle, and people around them, say if you were a tank reinforcing a spot, people around them would still get healed. So this allows vehicle players who don't really like being infantry to still be the medic that they are. I wouldn't say that this skill is very effective, but it's still better than than not having this skill if you're a heavy vehicle player. I would definitely suggest getting this if you are like a tank driver or a jeep driver. These are definitely a very useful skill for teammates. The next one is the frontline medic flare. This is the flare I was talking about, and I always suggest getting it if you're playing rush. It's an okay thing to have in conquest, but it is kind of buggy and it doesn't always work. But in rush, it is almost essential if you want to push up and to have at least 1 medic or 1 assault with one of these abilities. The final ability is the combat triage, which gives you a small triangle to be able to see your teammates and enemies' health. This is more beneficial just so you know which teammates absolutely need to be healed and which ones don't need to be healed. Because obviously a guy who has 10% health, 20% health is going to need the health a lot more than the guy who's sitting at 80% health. So it just allows you to pick and choose who you're healing better. Alright guys, that's it for this medic video. I hope you all enjoyed the video and learned something from it, but I want to just take note that all that I said was just guidelines. Nothing is a set in stone rule that you have to follow. What I said was intended to be useful for you to know how to start off your medic. I want you all to go around testing your settings and your weapons and your training points to find how you fit, because that's how you're going to perform the best, is when you find the setting that works for you. Not for what works for me. I want you to just find your own and use what I said as a guideline to start. With that said, I hope to see you all on the battlefield, and I hope you revive everyone you see. See you on the battlefield.